Hello, this is a brief overview of how management thinks. This is important because once we understand how management approaches problems in your organization, we can better organize the type of information we need to present them and understand the characteristics and timing of that information. Here's the overall principle. Management wants to be able to take a broad look at the organization to find issues they need to focus in on. Think of it as flying along in a jet plane at 30,000 feet. You can see a broad expanse of the horizon. Not a lot of detail, but you can see where there are fires down there below. And the tool is to provide management a mechanism by which they can identify which of those fires they should focus in on. Our argument is you need a strategic tool to help them prioritize. And in that prioritization, they can then sort out which things they need to drill into, go from 30,000 feet down to 20,000 feet. To do that, we're going to provide a narrower scope of information that's going to be put into an operational tool to give them an understanding of what caused that fire. Now, based on the understanding, they're going to want to go in a bit more detail. Again, we narrow the band of information and provide them with diagnostic tools so they can become more directional in their behavior. And then finally, if necessary, at ground level, we provide analytic tools so that they can become more prescriptive in their behaviors. Then management is going to go back up to 30,000 feet and find the next issue that they need to deal with. So this is the best practices management cycle, if you please. So let's take a look at the 4 information structures that support this. At the strategy level, best practices talk about balanced scorecards, where we identify the strategic objectives, how important they are, and how well we're performing. That gives management that 30,000 feet view that we're talking about. The 20,000 foot view comes from what we'll call an impact diagram. I should be able to drill into any one of those objectives and understand the things, the processes and projects which are impacting that, so that leadership can begin to understand what things they should focus in on. Once they have that 20,000 foot view, the next level is a dashboard. And typically, we don't provide this to the senior leadership team. This is provided to the people that report to them. No differently than you don't look at the detailed diagnostics that your garage mechanic provides and looks at about your car. You can make do with this simple dashboard as a driver. These dashboards for the process owners tend to be complex and data rich. The idea is to provide the process owner with a breadth of data to quickly understand what has gone wrong or going well. And in many cases, we want them to be seeing this well in advance of when leadership team may see some of the same issues. Finally, at ground level, we have business analytics, detailed rows and columns and analysis type documents. So that's the standard sort of hierarchy. Now, although we've described the strategy map as a view of the organization, you can also do strategy maps by department or by brand. Likewise, impact diagrams can be shown in many different ways, heat diagrams and so forth. The idea is to provide leadership with the next level of data down. There's a lot of science about dashboards, and in fact there are other courses here that will take you through the dashboard concepts later. And then finally the business analytics side of things. And of course, eventually we need to make it portable so leadership can get their hands on this information when and where they need. So the strategic level is what we're working on right now. Later on, we'll come back and give you some pointers in building out the dashboards and the operational layer, and then finally the analytics. So because of this structure, we need different types of information at each level. We'll now describe that in a bit more detail. To learn more about this concept, please join us at pm2consulting.com.